Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my preparation playthrough for Siege of Dragonspear through Baldur's Gate 1 with a party. In this episode, you will see me screw up a fight with the Flaming Fist mercenaries, and screw up a few more fights. You'll start to see me struggle with my party. I forgot how hard it is to play as low level I guess, low level party in Baldur's Gate. So if anyone knows what this scroll is for or how you use it, you should let me know because I've never ever been able to figure it out. Uh, so if you know, please let me know. That would be awesome. So I didn't really want to fight these guys, but I screwed up the dialogue. So basically, I got to fight them anyway. So I probably could have just gone through and continued to play, even though Jaheira died there. Honestly, I probably should have. And in the future, I won't reload if my characters die. I'll just play it through. But I guess I hadn't considered that yet. So you just see me reload there. That is the one and only time that I will reload when a character dies. I also played that fight really poorly. For one, I had ample time uh, to cast healing spells with Jaheira, and I honestly should have. But I wasn't expecting that Flaming Fist Mercenary to do 10 damage, because his first few attacks were doing like 7 or 8. So I was assuming that that was kind of his, I don't know, that was how much damage he did. And because Jaheira had 9 HP, I figured she was going to be fine, but I was wrong. So for those of you that are kind of unfamiliar or uncomfortable with D&D 2.0, the idea behind the armor class system is that you want it to be as low as possible to essentially dodge as many attacks as you possibly can. Armor doesn't mitigate damage, like it doesn't give you damage reduction. Instead, it makes you harder to hit. So I guess it adds your dexterity bonus, which I guess simulates your ability to dodge, and it adds your armor class from your armor, which essentially means that even if you're being hit, your armor is like turning the blows away, which I guess makes sense. But for people who are more familiar with other combat systems, it can seem a little bit obtuse at first. So you'll notice that every time I'm singing a bard song in melee range, I always switch my character to his melee weapon. That is because you actually get a penalty to your armor class when you have a ranged weapon equipped and someone is attacking you in melee range. So this is another really good change to the game. You notice that Khalid, even though he's been mind controlled by this woman, he doesn't have the little red circle under his character, which basically means my party members will not attempt to kill him, even though he's being rude at this point. So somewhat unfortunately, this character, or this person, starts attacking Jaheira while she's held, which, if you're not aware, when an enemy is under the effects of a hold spell or sleep or anything that that stuns them or makes them immobile, that means that they are like you have an instant hit chance, if that makes sense. Like, you don't need to make the dice rolls in order to hit that character, you just get an automatic hit. So I actually really like Khalid as a character. I think he's kind of interesting. I mean, just the reluctant hero. I think that's kind of a cool archetype. But he's so weak in terms of his strength. Like 15 is so low for a fighter, which is a little bit. I don't think annoying is the right word. I mean, it is annoying, but it's just suboptimal, especially since, as far as I am aware, there aren't that many strength enhancing items in Baldur's Gate 1, if any. So for the harder fights in this game, Khalid is definitely going to have to be chugging strength potions. Well, I guess I never finished my thought with the armor class system. In general, the idea behind the armor class system is that you want to mitigate as many attacks as you possibly can with a high number or a high amount of armor class, as well as disabling the enemy combatants. Or you can position your party in such a way where only maybe one or two enemies can attack at any given time. Basically, whatever you can do to limit the number of attacks per round coming in at your characters, that's the way you will succeed. I never used to think about it that way, but I actually went through Icewind Dale as a solo character, and because there's so many like areas where you get swarmed by enemies, positioning is very important. I played through as a fighter thief, but I basically played him as a single class fighter who could actually open locks and whatnot, so I used the heavy armor and everything like that. But anyway, because there are so many enemies attacking you at any given time, and they all aggro regardless of whether they have seen you or not, like they leash as one group, if that makes sense to you. Basically, if you always want to be like standing in a corner so only 2 or 3 can attack you at one time, rather than them surrounding you and like 8 or 9 can attack you at any given time, because you can get a super high armor class in that game. Like, I guess super high, by that I mean a very good armor class, which is actually super low, like -11, -12, even further. So even if the enemies can only hit you on a critical hit, which is kind of what you want, I mean, that means 5% of the time they're going to be hitting you, even if you have the best armor class possible. So I guess I'm just being really long-winded about this point. Positioning is good, and I'm sure there's going to be a few places where I use that to my advantage. So Nuber will follow you around and bother you and ask you all these questions. But if you force dialogue with him, you can just get it all out of the way immediately, and it gives you a little bit of experience. So if you didn't know that, then that's one way to deal with Nuber. If you kill him, you get like -8 reputation or something, which is really horrible, particularly if you're playing as a good character.
Yes? Not a problem. It will be done.
My muse shall not speak to such as thee.
Glad to meet you, friend. This way, good sir. Over here.
So yeah, the more I think about it, the more I think I'm going to actually drop Minsk and not use him. It would be nice to have another melee character, but I don't know. I've used him in almost every group playthrough of Baldur's Gate 1, and I kind of want to just use something or someone new. That means this party, until Khalid and Jaheira get a few more levels under their belt, this party's gonna be a little bit weak on the melee combat side, but I think that'll be okay. I also haven't really figured out how to use this this bard song effectively. I don't know whether it's better just for me to idle my character sitting there singing the bard song so my allies get stronger, or if it's better just to have him sit there and throw axes and cast spells and stuff.
Yes, O omnipresent authority figure.
I stand ready. Yes?
I've done had enough of this.
do my best.
Good as done. Nature's good as done. Yes, O omnipresent authority figure. You, creature, you are my masterpiece.
None cross Greywolf and live.
Yes? I see not a problem.
You've attacked or proposed. Nature's servant awaits.
So there you saw I got kind of unlucky. He one-shot Minsk there. I don't know if he got a critical hit or what, but he can do at least 11 damage per attack. That Greywolf guy, which I guess makes sense because he has that +2 longsword that has an additional cold damage. So that's a d8 +2 +1 cold damage. So at minimum it's doing 4, and at maximum, what is that, 11? Plus his strength bonus, which is probably at least +1.
Orion would be proud of your actions. With ease.
So now Khalid can actually take a beating because he's level 2 and he has a good amount of HP now. He actually has a really good sword, the best longsword in Baldur's Gate 1 as far as I know. And yeah, he's basically good to go. Like I said in the previous episode, I think I'm going to drop Minsk, not use him any longer. I'm not sure about that yet, but most likely yes. But anyway, we'll be continuing on probably to the Nashkel mines in the next episode. So thank you for watching, and I'll let it play out.